ICE is making radical changes to what they're doing with their detention policies. What do you do with somebody who's now in jail for a criminal case? Do you get them out? What's your strategy? Listen today, Immigration Wednesdays, we're going to talk about that. Hi, I'm attorney Jeff Peek with the Peek & Tolan Law Firm. And in our law firm, we do a lot of immigration defense, deportation defense, but we also do a lot of criminal defense. And we are one of the few firms that's really experts in these two worlds. And you really got to have one foot in each world to really know the balancing act of when to move somebody with immigration, when can you get them out on bond for the criminal case and the immigration is going to let them out, when do you need to fight the criminal case first. We saw so many changes from the Obama administration for the 8 years he was in office, when Trump took power in 2016, just radical shifts in philosophies by ICE from the presidents that were controlling them, and who would get a bond, what kind of immigration judges and what the kind of immigration prosecutors would consider as a good bond candidate, and who would get released on bond. And it became, we went from a lot of people getting out on bond, a lot of people being released up until 2016, in the 2012 to 2016 years, to 2016 to now, we saw nobody getting released at all. I mean, very limited examples where they would give immigration bonds, right? A lot of people would be denied bond. I can't tell you how many stories of cases that would have been easily approved in the previous administration that got denied under President Trump. So we've had to adjust our strategies, and that's what criminal defense attorneys do, who also know immigration, and likewise immigration who also criminal defense. We're always trying to figure out, and it depends on so many things. It could depend on the kind of case it is, and then sometimes inside the case there's facts. A DWI, for example, just because you have a DWI, not all DWIs are the same. Some have accidents, some have really high breath tests or blood results. Some have other facts in there, like somebody admitting they drank 16 beers. Sometimes you see people vomiting or urinating. You never know what might set off an immigration judge. Sometimes you see domestic violence cases that are same charge, very drastic facts. And so it really took a lot of experience and just time to investigate what was going to work. So now we're seeing huge changes. That's great news. Great news because it's been very strict, and we're starting to see a little bit of thawing of the ice, a little bit of flexibility coming from ICE. We're seeing people who before may never even get a bond from a judge, not even having to go in front of a judge. They're being released on own release bonds, which are kind of like the personal bonds of the immigration world. Or we're seeing people who've never been in the immigration system, who've been here a long time with family, and have misdemeanor cases, and they're not even being picked up by ICE. ICE knows they're there, but they're just saying, you know what, we're not going to process them right now. Now, I know what you're saying, Jeff, what about this lawsuit from Texas and an injunction about the Biden 100-day stay of deportation program? How does that affect all this? Well, I'm happy to report right now we're not seeing that that's having a huge pause or a negative effect on the Biden administration's plans to go ahead and reevaluate who is a priority for deportation. And I think that's the best way to say it. There are people who before, under Trump, they wanted to deport and detain no matter what. And now those same people, right, just because you have a new president and a new administration, are being considered released, low threat, low deportation priority, and they're giving a lot of people bonds these days. So that should cause you to think, hey, maybe I know somebody. If you know somebody's in jail right now for a criminal case, and maybe they already told one strategy, it's time to reevaluate that strategy. We had a guy that hired us 3 weeks ago on a DWI, and at the time, Biden hadn't taken office yet. We said, you know what, here's probably what's gonna be our strategy. We need to look at this. And he had a DWI, and he slightly hit another car, and the thought was, immigration judge may not like that. And now, because of these changes, we're going to go ahead and move forward and get that gentleman out today. And so you can see the difference between not even thinking there may be a possibility he won't get out, or we got to win his case for him to get out, to like, hey, let's move him over. He's going to be able to get out quickly. So reevaluation is constantly what a great attorney is doing when you see things changing at the administration level that are going to impact your clients. I highly recommend you, if you are ever arrested, if you're an immigrant or a family member of an immigrant, or a spouse of an immigrant who's not yet a permanent resident or citizen, or even maybe a permanent resident already, but get charged with a criminal case, do not risk your case for a criminal attorney who doesn't know anything about immigration, and don't risk your case with an immigration attorney who doesn't know anything about criminal. You need to find a specialist in those two areas. That's what you have here at Peek & Tolan. We've been doing this for 20 years. This is our wheelhouse. We're happy to help you, and we are excited to say it looks like it's going to be a lot better for those accused of crimes in immigration who have good defenses to be able to convince an immigration judge or ICE themselves to release you compared to the previous 4 years. And that makes a big difference because there's a lot of good people. We're not talking about serious criminals. We're talking about minor incidences, misdemeanors, who before were getting deported, kicked out of the country, and now are going to be able to get out of jail. And I think that's going to be good for the economy. It's going to be for families, and it's certainly good for our clients. So if you have a question, you want us to review or reanalyze your case, call us here at Peek & Tolan. Happy to help you. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you next Wednesday.